What is up? Welcome back to the Process of Becoming podcast. My name's Josh.
And my name's Dino.
And that voice sounded crystal clear because we got Dino in studio today.
Finally.
Dino moved back. He said he had enough of Democratic Russia, a.k.a. Colorado. So he's like, fuck it, I'm coming back. I miss Josh and all the conspiracy talk. So
yeah, we've actually decided just now that I'm officially moving here.
Yep.
Again, it's over.
Yeah, we got to go get the cats and it's official.
Yep, that's it. Dude, it's been nice. I miss you, dog. This is good.
I miss you.
It's not the same not seeing you.
It's not.
It feels like, honestly, like it's been a year.
Like I'm waiting for your voice to be like laggy, like it is, and like your face to freeze, but your voice to still work like it does in Colorado.
Yeah, and then I have to carry my phone back to my house so it downloads. Just so you guys know, the amount of times I've had to bring my phone back into my house and just let it sit there so we can upload a video. It's a lot.
Yeah, Dino records at his clubhouse at his apartment complex.
Yeah, it really is. It's
and,
a clubhouse.
They have Wi-Fi, but I'm pretty sure that there's gerbils running it.
It sucks, dude.
It's worse than
terrible.
HQs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which I never thought I would say about.
And HQs is like it's okay. When Josh said it's worse than HQ, there's a lot of people on Wi-Fi, and everyone's running about 1,000 tabs. You know what I mean? So it's like it is a problem. And there's no one in my clubhouse. Like when I'm there, it's just me, and it's still laggy. Yeah, which makes no sense.
It sucks. But yeah, we got you here today.
Yeah,
we got some good shit to talk about.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be freaking fun.
I'm excited. I don't even know how to act right now, dude. I feel like a little kid.
What actually brought you into town?
So what's it called? So we had what was it? 2 weeks ago, I think I came. Oh no, dude, it's been like 2 weeks since I was last time.
You came in to celebrate Easter with your family?
No, yeah, Easter. Yeah, it was Easter weekend, so it worked out for my schedule.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll stop by real quick. I mean, dude, it's not a bad drive.
It's cool. Just take advantage of our holidays.
I mean, hey, brother, I don't take off on my holidays. Fun fact. That's actually true. You guys will know this. If you know any Bosnian people, or typically even Muslims, we don't even take off on our own day because you'll go to the mosque at like 5 or 6 and you pray and then you go to work. So we don't take off Easter, Christmas. I mean, dude, even when I was here, I never took off. Like I would show up on Christmas time. Yeah. And you know what was the best part? Before anyone knew like I was Muslim, they'd be like, "Oh, dude, this guy's here on Christmas." I was like, "Yeah, I'm working extra hard. I'm working extra hard."
You're like, "No, I just don't actually."
Yeah, like I just don't celebrate it.
So I was leaving for in college. I just had like no real understanding of like different religious beliefs and different things like that. And I had a buddy. His name was Tyler. He was Jewish. And we're getting ready to leave for like Easter break. And I'm like, "So what are you doing for Easter, man?" He just stared at me. He's like, "I'm Jewish, asshole." I'm like, it wasn't intentional.
Did you know he was Jewish or no?
I did, yeah.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, I just had zero freaking concepts of anything. Yeah.
It's all good. The amount of times that happens to me, though, is a lot. Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, what are you doing for Christmas?" I'm like, "Bro, you've known me for 10 years."
Yeah.
Like, nothing. Like, no, literally.
I'll wake up and get after it. It's like every day.
Every fucking day. It doesn't change. Sponsored by First Form, if you guys didn't know.
First Form Energy.
You know what? The only miss that I think we had is not shooting in this room earlier and having video because this looks crystal clear, and I'm excited for you guys to actually see the video because this is awesome.
We're not on Wi-Fi.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, that's
okay.
That makes sense. In here. The reason why we never used to is because it was like a full-blown official camera setup.
That's fair.
That.
Yeah.
And
they moved it over, right?
They did.
Okay.
They came in one day and just stole it. They're like, "Hey, we're taking this to the building too." We're like, "What are we planning to do?" And they're like, "That's on you." We're like,
I mean, I like the setup.
Yeah,
I think it's great, especially for you guys. You guys use a lot of your inform calls on this.
We do everything in here.
Nice.
So we have a lot of plans for this room, but we're like, we don't really need it.
Right.
Because like everything we do suffices.
I mean, dude, this is awesome. Yeah. And I love, like, dude, I remember, and you probably do too, whenever we started this room, none of this was here. It was just like a black wall or a white wall. I mean, it's come a long way.
Why is it gotta be a black wall, man?
Hey, listen, I didn't paint it.
I need to change this foot thing. It's making me annoyed.
Yeah. I didn't even. Do you remember when the gym had white walls?
Yeah.
Oh, that was rough. That was rough. I think back and I'm like, holy crap.
Well, I saw Dave walking around the other day and it looked like he was looking at like shit to paint. I'm like, maybe we're painting the hallways black.
Dude, I mean, I'm so happy that we went with the black because it looks so much cooler. Especially for like the blackout. Yeah. When you guys do the blackout, that's
like
it's
all
awesome.
Those boxes, like I always see the graphic team like designing things for those boxes, like First Form graphics.
Yeah.
But we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we gotta fucking do that. Weird. Also, did you guys fix the court?
Yeah, it's resurfaced. Yep.
You know how long? Hold on. I got a bone to pick.
Hey, we don't got this soccer asshole here scuffing it up with his bullshit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got a bone to pick because for how long I've been fighting for that. I want to say in like 3 years ago. We've talked about, all right, when we're going to get the court repainted, refixed, because we need to. Every year you're supposed to technically do that. Yeah. So all my videos have like scuff marks on them, mostly from me. But it's like, you guys wait till I fucking leave, and then I'm going to go over there and do trick shots today.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Do it. I can't.
Don't have a ball? What kind of
I did my legs.
What kind of,
yeah,
what kind of trick shot guy doesn't have his ball with him?
Oh, I have my ball. I always have my ball. So just so you guys know, I'm taking not a hiatus, but for the next 2 months, you probably won't see too much lifting, too much soccer because back issues still. I don't know how to recover correctly, apparently.
Man.
Hey, no, I'm not getting old, dog. Not getting old. Don't ever throw that out there. Josh, you're not old either.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I feel young.
Yeah, you are.
It's good.
You look young.
All right, what are we hitting on today, man?
So today, what we're going to talk about, okay, is setbacks. And I think it's a good timing for setbacks because it is, summertime is coming up and New Year's resolutions. A lot of people, for the most part, and I don't know what the statistic is on this, but a lot of people stopped or have quit, and it happens because we miss 1 day, 2 days, and we're like, shit, okay, so we could just go downhill. And I think that's a perfect topic to get into. But then also another thing that we're going to talk about is the perfect versus done or completed, essentially, because everyone and a lot of us do this, right? It's the perfectionist mindset or it's got to be perfect or it doesn't count. And that's not true at all. And a lot of you guys who listen, you guys probably have the algorithm of motivation and, different people talking about a lot of good techniques in life and, how the journey really is and all these kind of different things. And you'll see it a lot where it's like the journey is never uphill. And whether you've had a fitness journey or you're in business or any of these things, that it's a wave, right? So why do we take life and think it's got to be perfect when in reality, it's never that way. It's about just getting shit done. And you know this firsthand too, from like when you think about your powerless, right? How many times do you read a book and it's perfect every time? You're intentional every time. It takes work some days and some days it's a little bit easier, right? But the most important thing always is get it done. So that's really the two topics we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I mean, we could even start out with talking about how January is not actually the new year. April is. We can start talking about that.
Like what is it, 14 months technically, 13 months that we should have?
Yeah, I mean, but even just from a standpoint of like the months that we're added in.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like Oct is 10, Sept.
Because wasn't Julius, July was changed from Julius, and then Augustus was to August. Because technically, if you break it down, I think we should have technically 13 or 14 months.
Well, if you look at it the way that it should be, we should have 10 months, right? Because September, Sept,
right,
is 7,
right.
So why is September the 8th month or 9th month?
Well, I think because I think
we were supposed they added 2 months in.
Did they? I thought we were supposed to have another month technically.
Well, it's based on the number of days.
Got it.
The other thing that happened was that the calendar used to be, it wasn't 1 month has 30 and 1 month has 31.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was broken up differently. But the actual new year is supposed to be April 1st.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep. Spring.
I was going to say, because I wish you said it was 13 or 14, because then I can say I'm still like 25.
Yeah.
I'm still 25.
Do you ever look into the conspiracy of the year that we're actually in? There's like this thought process, and there's actual proof about it. I haven't dove into it a lot, but like somewhere in like the 1700s, there's like some type of time period where they literally just leaped time forward.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like we're technically, if you look at the way that it's supposed to be, we're like only in like the 1700th year. Something
really?
Like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I remember
like a time period where there's literally no history for that time period.
Really?
It's like that. And there's even like they have clocks and newspapers and things that like showed something different.
Interesting. Because I've seen certain conspiracies on it, but I haven't delved too much into it.
Same. There you go. There's homework for you guys that like conspiracies. What year are we actually supposed to be in?
You and I, we have a lot of conspiracies.
It's not even a conspiracy though. Like I was thinking about this driving in. Like I think about all kinds of stuff all the time. I'm like, what do you actually like? It's such a hard thing once you start seeing things and like once you're quote unquote awake, because like then nothing is freaking true. Like what is actually true? You know, one of the things I teach the people that I mentor is like ask yourself like, what do you actually know for sure? And when you stop and ask yourself about that, like with that, ask yourself that question with all the things that we've learned over the years. Like, well, we've only known what we've been told
1000%
about historical events, about everything. So it's like, well, what do we actually know? And then the cool thing is you actually explore. And that's the conversation I had with Andy because he brought something to the podcast and I asked him and he's like, dude, my goal is just to guide people to it and let them go explore it.
Right.
I'm like, Roger that.
I love that.
Yeah. But what do you actually know for sure? Like, how do we even know that it's 2025?
That is true. I mean, dude, you're seeing a lot of it. And I think that's why TikTok is such a big popular platform is because a lot of conspiracies are talked about. And now, realistically, they're almost not conspiracies if you really dive into the information. But a lot of us, I think, because here's the truth. And what are your thoughts on this? I feel like the more that you know, the more that it kind of gets a little bit scarier, right? Because then you're like, holy shit, half the stuff that I was taught in school, half the stuff my parents taught me. Like it's not the same. It's so many different things in there, and it's a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Right. Because like, what is life?
Yeah.
You know, and like, dude, that's another conversation we could dive into. That's deep one. But what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think a lot of people don't want to dive into it because of the information that they'll actually find,
100%.
right? And like, dude, it breaks what you know your whole life. Yeah. So like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think a lot of people can't handle that type of unknowing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they'd rather live comfortably just assuming that what is
right
versus having to explore it.
It's easier to.
I mean, I think that's a big reason why a lot of the truth like that hasn't come out.
Right.
Like I remember in Trump's first term with the JFK stuff, like he promised that he was going to release it. And then he basically was like, no, like they're not ready for it. Like
1,000%.
More or less. Yeah. But now they've started releasing it and it's like, oh, okay. So, but then again, it's like we're so numb as a society, but also run by such a state-run media that you don't even really hear about it unless you go explore it.
You're right. You have to go look for it. I mean, dude, have you ever heard of it's like Project Stargate? Mm-hmm. Like that shit's crazy. Yeah. Like remote viewing. If you guys ever want to dive into some like energy, universal power, like dive into like Project Stargate and just like the remote viewing aspect of the CIA and the government, because it'll blow your mind. So like a lot of the stuff we even started talking about with like, you know, meditation and energy, if you ever have doubts on it, I mean, dude, it goes so deep into like what the government used to do to find out where people were, where things were. Like it is mind blowing. But I bring that up, as scary as it can be, is also the power that we as humans have.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Which is, it's fucking insane, right? Like, you know, like psychics and all this stuff, like you're growing up, you know, it's like woo woo, but it's really not. Like there's the power as humans that we have, like we don't even understand it, right? We just see what we think we are and what we have in life, when in reality, there's so much more to it, right? Like, dude, there's fun fact. If you guys ever, there's a Netflix thing, and I forgot what it was called, but it's basically talking about our universe, our solar system, and how it's still expanding, right? And they thought at one point it was going to grow a certain way, but then it like switched up to the point, like, for example, our universe is so perfect that if like one thing was off, no one would be here. Yeah. Everything would be destroyed. So it's like, how's that even happen? You know, like how is dark matter, dark energy, like all these different things. Now that's a different topic for a different day, because it's a whole deep rabbit hole. But the power that we have as humans is unmatched. I would dive into that if you guys ever get the chance.
Oh, even looking at that from like a creation standpoint, recently they discovered that Earth itself is in what is known as a cosmic void. So like there's all these other solar systems and galaxies and all these things there. If you get outside of that void, they're all more or less stacked up on top of each other. Wow. Gravitational pulls effect. Right. So like even the positioning of Earth in the entire ecosystem of space is positioned in such a way for life to exist.
Isn't that insane?
And it's like this perfect, like they kind of showed like an image of it. I don't know if it's a photo of it or just a mock-up image, but it's just like that, you know, it's like, holy shit.
That's insane.
But then again, like I don't think like, okay, cool. So that's what they say, but is it actually true?
Right.
Like, you got to learn to question everything.
You have to. Yeah. And not to a point where you like question, you know, fucking your whole life. And then you're like, I don't know what to do.
I've done that.
But you dive in deep. Yeah. But always question things, because I think it's important. And a lot of the reason you should question things is because as humans, we want to just know. Right? Like that is what we're designed for. It's part of the reason we look back in the past and try to like, oh, you know, this happened here, so I am this way. And when you do that, you lose the possibility of creation. You know, I think you did the solo podcast on, you know, creativity and just like us as humans playing, you know, like the ability to play, to have fun. It's like we lose a lot of that is because we keep looking at the past and try to put it in the future, when in reality, you can change who you are today if you want to. Yeah. Right. And that's the beautiful part about, you know, the transformation of life, or, you know, with a fitness journey, you see this a lot. And we've talked about this. You change your identity, and that's how everything else changes in the future for you. But when you consistently have the same identity, you're going to make decisions based on that. So you have to get out of that, right? And a part of life is questioning these things so you can figure out who you really are and what you want to be.
Yeah, I agree. It's fun to explore.
It is.
I don't know though. You know, I understand that like when we talk about stuff like this, there's automatically like half of the people that like just this doesn't land with them, and that's okay.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Like I think about it through COVID, like with my uncle, like he's extremely intelligent, and we've talked about this before. Like the dude didn't leave his house for 6 months.
Yeah,
because he was just so like, hey, what they're saying is gospel. Well, now fast forward, and the whole thing right now is going to the COVID-19 website. Have you seen that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole COVID-19 website now, COVID.gov, is
actually just saw it today.
Set up to basically like, hey, this is the proof that it came from a lab. And it's like, oh yeah, it's 4 years ago. It was not from a lab. It was from bats.
In fact, if you said that, you would get canceled. Yeah. You would get shut down. fact checkers.
Yeah.
And it's like, so
you notice we haven't seen those lately?
I was going to say, what happened to that? But that's why we bring this stuff up. It's like, yeah, from a governmental standpoint or whatever, and whether you're into politics or any of these things, you don't have to be. But that piece right there should open your eyes to like, there is way more that we're not being taught. Oh, yeah. And I think a huge part of it is because if you actually knew the power that we have, what life really is, it'll blow your fucking mind. Like, I really think that's a big piece. And that's probably why they don't share it, because I don't think everyone's ready for it. But I think COVID has opened up a lot of eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, dude, a lot of the stuff that people got canceled for, you know, like, hey, hello, like, look what's going on. So do your own research, man. Like, do your own research. And it's funny because this shit's been around for a while. Like, even when you look back, like Martin Luther King and all these different movements that happened, dude, it's just what the media can do is insane. Yeah. It is insane.
Oh, yeah. That's wild.
All right, dog. Let's get into it.
Yeah. Freaking rough transition right into
it. Sorry. I'm excited. There's a lot we could talk about.
Yeah, 100%.
We're still catching up in a way.
Yeah.
I feel like.
We'll kind of start out with this from a standpoint of like this setbacks piece. Right?
Yeah.
Like, setbacks, guys. Like I had a situation recently where I was educating a group of people, and I asked them, I'm like, what's the number one thing that you can do to overcome any problem? Right. And they started throwing out all these different ideas. I'm like, okay, those aren't bad ideas. But the first thing is to stop seeing it as a problem.
I like that.
Right? Because as soon as you see it as a problem, and I even just made a reel only to find out shortly thereafter that Ed Milet literally released a podcast episode that literally talked about the same thing. I was like, awesome. Right, that's pretty cool. Same wavelength.
That's awesome.
But it's like, what if instead of looking at all the setbacks that you have or the obstacles that show up in your life or the barriers or whatever, all the situations that we call problems,
right.
What if instead of seeing them as those things, we saw them as, hey, they're intentionally being put there so that I can become the best person possible. Right?
Absolutely.
And I think a big thing that happens with that is not having such short-sighted vision,
mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
because if you're looking down here, cool, you don't even really see that as an obstacle,
right?
You know?
Right.
And we've given that example before. It's like, all right, you're looking at a beautiful sunset. Well, sometimes you're missing all the beautiful landscape that sun is now lighting up.
Like what you talk about with like the overview. Yeah.
So it's like, you know, being really short-sighted of like, and again, it's like what we were talking about right at the beginning. It's like, yeah, life is hard. Life is crazy. It's not meant to be on this upward trajectory. Life is literally about surviving, sometimes minute to minute, day to day decisions and all that. And we get that. But like not being so short-sighted that you're looking at this as like the biggest thing in your life. It's like, all right, well, I'm going there. So instead of looking at that as a problem, I'm going to look at it as a launching pad or just an opportunity to be like, all right, cool. This is going to make me the best version of myself.
1,000%.
You know, and I had this situation happen this week with the workout. I started feeling like shit around Tuesday. I had a super congested upper body. And we had that Wednesday workout. It was Aaron's version of High Rocks, and I'm like, Aaron, who pissed you off? It was ridiculous. It was like people that do High Rocks are like, yeah, this was bullshit. But like, I almost didn't do the workout because I was like, I know that if I do this is going to push this sickness into my chest, which it did.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like I was like, all right, well, I don't feel good. Let me see what I'm capable of. Right. So, and it was just that little bit of a mindset shift. It's like, all right, now I know what I'm capable of doing, what I don't feel 100%.
100%.
Cool. So I was leaving a lot on the table.
Right.
So that's the first thing I'll say about it is like, do you have nearsighted vision of like, you're looking just down at your feet, or are you looking out ahead? And it's always going to be a combination of both. Right. But when those problems come, it's like, just see them as launching pads or opportunities for you to figure out what you're capable of in this process of becoming.
I like how you put that, the launching pad, because you can even look back in a lot of our lives, right? Like when you look at right now and you were to look at, hey, all the moments in your past that have happened, whether good or bad, they seem so insignificant, but I bet you if you remember being in those moments, they seem like the biggest thing in the world, right? It's like funny story, but it's like I remember like in 8th grade, you know, your first love or your like freshman year, you know, you have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and they break up with you or whatever, and it feels like the end of the world, but it's like now you're like whatever. But it's a good reminder of just like how much in the present that we forget to be. And sometimes we're in the present too much, right? Like you said, it's a little bit of the short-sighted vision.
Yep.
But you have to look at like, hey man, is it really a setback, right? Because so there's a little bit, I think it relates a lot to this. So I had someone that I was talking to, and they were struggling with like the certain things that were showing up to and their mindset into it, right? And they were constantly like, I think this is, you know, I'm not good with people, or I'm not good with this and this and this. And it's like, hey, let's pull that back. And why do you think that? And it's because you go into those things with a certain mindset.
Yeah, you're telling yourself that.
You're telling yourself that. And our brain is so good at finding the things that we look for. Like it really is, right? And I brought up the bank teller off like the magic of thinking big so many times, but it's true, right? Like if you go into a situation, you're like, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. It doesn't, right? And the same thing with setbacks. It's like, how do you look at a setback? And what is a setback? You know what I mean? Hey, like even with my back injury, I'm like, is that a setback or is that a launching pad?
Yeah.
And that's why I like the word you put there, because a lot of the times things in life that happen to us that we think are bad, they're more so launching pads. The reason they end up being the worst case scenario or bad is because we continue to look at them as that way.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, dude, if you look back at your past and all the things that you've messed up, dude, if you sat there and were like, yep, my life sucks because of this, you would have never moved forward. And I think it's important. It's literally a perspective switch. And like, I think when we talk about setbacks, that really is what the key to getting through it is the perspective you have on it, right? It's like, hey, shit's going to happen in your life. And I mean, listen, even in business, every single successful business that you hear, there's always a setback, or, man, I didn't think I was going to make it. Or I didn't think I was going to do this. I thought we were going to fail. There's always that point in time in that business where it's like make or break, right? And what is the difference of them going? It's, hey, I just kept pushing. I kept believing. And it's like, when you really dial that back, what is the key there? It's the belief. It's the, hey, I'm going to continue anyway. I'm going to find a way. And dude, here's another great example. Alex Volkanovski. I don't know if you guys watch UFC at all, but a lot of people, like this weekend,
it's a very American name.
Yeah, very, very. He's actually Australian. But he's 35. He actually just won a title, and he's a guy first guy ever in UFC history who's won a title at the age of 35 and over. Like, first guy ever. And it's insane because the last 2-3 fights, he didn't do well. Like, people are like, he's over, he's done for. And he came back and he fought and he won. And it's like history made. But when you think about that, like, dude, that is like, you're fighting a guy, right? Like, that is life or death situation. What is the difference of him succeeding in that? It's how he looked at those setbacks. Hey, I have the ability to make and overcome this. And he even said it in his speech. It's like, adversity is a privilege. You know what I mean? And it's like, how you view the situation is everything. Now, yeah, he is a high-level fighter and all these different things, but we can do the same thing in our life, right? Where it's like, hey, let's say some shit happens and you can't go train anymore, or hey, maybe you lose your job, or whatever the case may be. Okay, really, is that really a setback, or is it launching pad for something different? So that's where my mind goes with it. I know I kind of jumped around a little bit.
No, I think that's awesome. I think the other thing too with that Alex guy is his old man strength probably.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Like certain age,
strength.
like I keep asking my dad, I'm like, yo, when is that happening? Like, when does it happen that you just get that old man strength? I don't think I have it yet.
Yeah.
Although maybe, because we did a workout in there, and the one day I kind of impressed everybody. But yeah, no, a big thing with setbacks again is the third party perspective too. Like, that's where my mind goes with it. Is when you're in the shit, right? And like at the end of the day, guys, a setback, even as much as we tell you, hey, like the best thing to do is just keep pushing forward, find the silver lining. When you're in it, that's the last thing you're thinking
100%.
about.
It's hard.
So the idea is number one is detach from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, try to get yourself out of the situation physically if you can, but at least mentally and emotionally, right? It's a big reason why some of the people that I really love and care about in my life, like their main thing they say is emotions make you weak. They do, because they're going to keep you there. So step back and detach from that. Kind of see it for what it is. Think about in that situation, if you had somebody that you cared about deeply, what advice would you give them in that situation?
Love that.
Right? Because that's the advice you need to give yourself.
Absolutely.
Now, then the second part of that is acting on that, right? So detach from the situation. Okay. The other thing that my brain kind of lost the trajectory I was going to go with that whole thought. But the other thing with it, guys, is understand that you've overcome everything that you've been put up against.
Absolutely.
Right. It's one of my favorite ways to encourage people is, dude, like, doesn't matter what you've been through. You're batting 1,000. You've overcome and you're undefeated. So it's a matter of how much time it actually takes. So at the end of the day, pushing forward through the setback is really the only option you got, which I guess that leads me to what I was going to say is in that detached period, think about what is the alternative. Right. No matter what it is, whether it's a financial thing, whether it's a family thing and you lose somebody, whether it's a health thing for yourself, whatever it is, what is the alternative right now? You know, and Chad Wright says it's one of my favorite things. My favorite quotes is take quitting off the table, right? Just get rid of it. So if you look at the situation of like, what is the alternative? It's like, all right, well, cool. The alternative is right now I'm in a really bad financial bind. Cool. The alternative is I just don't fix it and I just go. It just keeps getting worse. Well, once you realize how stupid that is and that it's not really an option, the only other option there is to fix it. And the faster you get into fixing it or overcoming it or thinking differently about it, the better off you're going to be.
Absolutely.
Another thing that's been really powerful that I've actually adopted in my life is a lot of times when you run into a setback or a problem, it's not how you're viewing the problem, it's that you're asking the wrong questions.
I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard to give examples in that situation, but just think through the situations you go through is like, what questions do I need to ask in order to get myself through this situation?
Absolutely.
Whether that's of yourself, whether that's other people, whatever it is. But it's like, hey, maybe you're just looking at the problem the wrong way and asking the wrong questions about how to move through it. So,
no, I like that. And I think one of the biggest questions that a lot of us get into whenever we get dealt a setback or something like that happens is why me? Right. And And to what Josh is talking about, like a good example of that is to the way I see it is, hey, why me? Or hey, how can I use this to benefit me? Or like, hey, what is this teaching me? Or hey, what is the next step that I can take? Right. And like just those two questions alone can literally decide which way you go. Because you're going to struggle with finances, you're going to struggle with relationships, you're going to struggle with your career. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. But when you can literally just take a view out, and again, I think it's so important to remember, like, remove yourself emotionally. And when I say that, that doesn't mean don't have any emotion. It's remember to not let the emotion block your next decision, because like, here's the truth. If all the worst things happen to you, you get hit and your back's against the wall. Well, guess what you can do now? You can move forward in any single way that you want, right? Like there is that option. There is always an option to move forward, regardless of if we want to or we feel like we can at that moment. But when you ask yourself the right questions, instead of, hey, why is this happening to me, compared to like, hey, how do I use this to benefit me? Or what next step can I take? Right? Let's say you lose your job. Okay, well, is there other jobs out there? Yeah. What is my skill set? Right? Like just figuring out those little things can decide your life from there. You know what I mean? And so like what you're talking about, I think it makes so much sense, dude. But a lot of us get stuck in that because again, it's, hey, why is this happening to me? Why me? Why me? But if you remove yourself and take a third person point of view, it'll change everything. Right. And I love the one thing you talk about with like the friend aspect of it. It's like, what would you tell your best friend?
Yeah.
What would you tell?
What advice would you give?
Yeah. Because a lot of us, dude, the way we talk to ourselves is so bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like we are our worst critics at the end of the day, but you have to be your own best friend. And that is the biggest key, because when you can be your own best friend, a lot of the decisions that you would normally make are going to change into the best decisions that you can make, because now you're looking out for yourself instead of feeling sorry for yourself. And that's one of the biggest keys.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I had another thought. My brain is definitely not firing on all cylinders today. I had another thought, and I want to take it in that direction. It was really good. Now I lost it.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Yeah, guys, at the end of the day, like you're going to make it through it. It's the silver lining effect. It's like, how can I use this for me? And really the thing that I want you to think about is going back to the visualization loop, right? Like one of the superpowers that we get to have is we get to attach whatever meaning we want to situations, circumstances, and events in our life, right? So even with a setback, right? So if you start at the top of the visualization loop, okay, that is the current reality, but you get to attach whatever meaning you want to the reality that is currently happening. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it something that's going to be a launching pad, or is it the death of you? Right. So that will lead to the thoughts, the emotions, the actions, the habits, and then back to new reality. That is how it works, right? So the fight that we all have in those situations with a setback is really how am I going to view this? And then you move through it, right? And the way that your mind works is predominantly whatever the thought you have predominantly through the day is, your mind will go to work proving that true. 100%. It's just the way that it goes, right? We don't make up the rules. We just get to give them to you. But in those moments, that's what we're looking for. It's like that silver lining is the shift in the perspective, to your point, of like, how can I view this differently so that it can change my thoughts, get the emotion going, so I can actually start taking corrective action. And if you just understand that, guys, everything always comes back to that. 1,000%. And if you just attach the meanings that you want instead of the meanings that are there, right? Another way that we say it, we always talk about from a visualization standpoint, is you don't get what you want in life, you get what you are, from an energy standpoint, which is true. The way to say that is you don't get what you want, you get what you expect. 1,000%. Right? So are you expecting that situation to get better? And then again, it's looking back and realizing, hey, like everything I've ever gone through, I've succeeded. So you look at the evidence that you have in your life that holds true, and then you move forward with confidence, knowing that's the case. And I remember what I was going to say.
Yeah, let's hear it. I'm ready.
The other thing here is the reason why we attach so much to a physical journey, right? Or doing hard things. Doesn't have to be physical fitness, but just doing hard things, right? That's called exposure therapy. Right. So if you expose yourself to hard shit, when the hard shit of life happens, now you're equipped to be able to handle it, because you've already started changing this. You have that evidence of like, yeah, I can do hard stuff. Right. That mile that I tried to run, that I didn't think I was going to be able to do, I did that. Right. And the correlation isn't exact, but it's the exact same type of scenario where it's like, all right, I did something hard there. I didn't die. I made it through. All I had to do is just reframe my mind and reframe the way I was thinking. I had to ignore that voice that was telling me to stop. And I pushed through and I got that confidence. The same exact thing holds true with the situations in life or any other setback that you have. And the cool thing is, guys, is that eventually that makes you who you are. I mean, the reason why both of our stories are so powerful and people resonate is because we've overcome a bunch of shit. 1,000%. You know, like you're never going to watch a movie. Like, do you have any favorite movies that you've ever watched of hero trajectories or hero story arcs where that person was comfortable and they didn't have to overcome anything?
That'd be a shitty movie. Yeah. Dude.
There's literally no
movie.
So no book, no success story. So just understand that you're rewriting that. And then the last thing I'll say on that is it reminds me of the story that Ed Milet talked about with the two roads, right? And I won't tell the whole story, but you got to reframe of like, hey, maybe this is happening so that I can now use that to serve somebody else down the line.
That's a big
right.
one.
And it's the idea of when you have a big goal, when you have a big outcome that you're trying to achieve in your life or aspirations to do something, the more that you can make that about other people, the better, because then it starts everything that happens in your life starts making more sense.
Absolutely.
It's like, all right, well, cool. This isn't happening for me. Like all the people that I've lost through my life didn't happen for me. It happened so that when I started mentoring people, that I could give them personal experience and make an actual connection through empathy, which would allow them to help them move forward. So if you look at life that way, it keeps you from getting too far like internalized with that setback. And it's like, oh, the whole why me? It's like, no, like, yeah, of course me. Like this is so that I can help somebody. So just to kind of tie that all together.
No, I love that. It's the overarching view that you're talking about, right? Where it's like being so short-sighted that you don't see the bigger purpose of that. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Another thing I want to tie into this, because we've talked about this before, but this is where I think gratitude comes in, right? And I think about this a lot from my standpoint, where it's like, you know, like let's say if I lose everything today, you know, obviously it's not what I want, right? But like I would have never known what it's like to even have those things in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like we lose sight of the fact that we got blessed to have the life that we do. You know, let's say, hey, like even for example, meeting Josh, it's like this would have never happened. I would have never known this experience if I didn't meet you. So even if me and you separated and we don't talk anymore, it's like I should still be grateful for the fact that I got that ability, right? You know, and I think we feel like we deserve a lot of things, or that like, oh, I should have this. And I know that's a part of the ego that plays a role in life. But when you take a step back, dude, we should be grateful for everything that we experience, even the downfalls, because we're not guaranteed any of those things. Like even in life, let's say when it comes to career, it's like, dude, that career wasn't guaranteed. We got lucky or whatever happened, you know, we were prepared and we shot the shot, we got the opportunity. But what happens if you never did? Right. So it's like even in those moments that maybe you get dealt a setback, there's a lot of things to be grateful for. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people who never got that opportunity. There's a lot of people who never get that opportunity. So even if the worst case scenario happens, you'd still be grateful for the time you got to spend, the skills you got to learn, like whatever the case may be, you know, and I think gratitude plays a big role in that. And gratitude is a big part of that launching pad.
That's the fastest way to get out of that energy.
Absolutely. Because then you start to look at things as like, oh, okay, this doesn't happen just to me. This is happening for me in some case or scenario to help someone else or to propel me to where I actually need to be. Right. So like gratitude, I think, is a big piece of that, that I think we, you know, as much as we talk about, we forget often.
I think gratitude is the biggest component of it.
I do too, because it changes and reframes your mindset, right? It's the perspective switch that we're talking about. When you can be grateful for those things, it allows you to make better decisions, right? Because when you're stuck in that woe me, you forget the possibility of all the other things that you can do in life, right? Because it's not just hey, you get either this option or this option. In this life, we get a million different options. And you got to be grateful for the opportunity that you still get options, regardless of what happens to you. You know, like I actually have a friend, and I remember the funny story. So I was in 6th grade. His name is Alex Schmidt. Cool.
Alex.
Yeah, Alex. I know it. Alex, today, name of the day. But I remember it was funny, and I didn't even know this. So there was one time he was like, hey, dude, punch me in my leg. And I was like, why would I do that, dude? He's like, just do it. He's like, just punch me in my leg. And I was like, dude, no. And he's like, stop being a pussy. Okay, different time. Okay, so don't. So I was like, and I hit him a little bit, and I realized his leg was wooden. I never knew this.
Yeah, a wooden leg.
Wooden leg.
The fucking pirate.
A wooden leg. Because you know, I guess he was born with it or whatever. And now he actually lost both his legs, so he's an amputee.
He was born with a wooden leg?
He was born without a leg, not a wooden leg. That'd be wild. That's a pirate
studied
shit.
This Alex guy.
But that example I use because, you know, like when I look at him now, he's doing amazing things. He's actually started his own business, doing all these stuff. But like when you remove that, it's like, dude, if we were in that scenario, like what would we do, right? And we forget how grateful we are to even have, you know, 2 legs, ears, arms. Like we forget these things. And that's why gratitude is so important, because you see those people and it's like, how are they able to accomplish so much in life? And the difference is they don't look at those things as setbacks, right? Like they don't look at the things that happen to them as setbacks. 100%. They look at them as, how can I use this to better someone else or better my future? Or like, hey, I'm here. What can I do?
Yeah, they've also looked at the alternatives. It's like, all right, what's the alternative? Okay, I go live this life of quiet misery. Like, woe is me because I was born different.
Right.
Or I can use it to fucking be a launching pad. And the cool thing I think about too is a lot of times those people don't even set out to inspire or change the world.
Right.
They just say, hey, I'm sick of the circumstances. I'm not going to give in to that thought process. And then they just take action, right? Which leads to habits, new realities. Right. And then they end up inspiring the world.
Absolutely.
You know, and the thing is, you never know what the setback that's happening to you is going to launch you to.
1000%.
But if you give up on it, you'll never
know. Yeah. I think a big piece of that, and going back to your workout example, is fear.
Yeah.
And why doing hard shit is such an important piece of life is because it shows you that you can overcome fear. And, let's say it's like, hey, you never ran a mile. Well, when you run that first mile, there's so many different thoughts that go in your head. But when you overcome it, you feel amazing because you're like, holy cow, I didn't know I could do this. And look at what I was able to accomplish.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the beauty of life that we have. It's like when you have that fear, or even if you're in that mode of like, I don't know what to do, just take the next best step, because even if it does scare you, you'll build confidence from that. And I think that's a big piece of that is, attack that fear, attack whatever, in your head you're worried about, or whatever situation you're in. Hey, just take the next best step. Because when you do that, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's another topic that we're going to dive into.
Yeah.
But as long as you can push through, even if it's not perfect, even if you don't do as best as someone else, the fact that you still did it is a win. And the more that you do that, the more confidence you build. And then that's where you start to really see the potential of life that you can have. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I think about a lot of my parents, like their journey and everything they went through. It's like when I think about what if they just gave up, where would I be? Where would they be? What story would we be able to tell? And like the impact they have generations and generations from just removing that fear and just pushing forward because they had no other option. Their back was against the wall. Was that really a setback? You know what I mean? In that scenario, you could be like, oh, well, why the fuck this happened, or how this happened, or damn, this happened. But it's like just the fact of them switching their mindset and being like, hey, I have no other option. I got to go forward. I got to figure this out. Look at all the things that have happened since then. You know what I mean? So remember that, like whatever scenario or situation you're in, you will overcome it. You just have to switch your mindset on it. And I know it's easier said than done, but just really look at the other potential or possibilities, and even remove yourself from the situation. Like if it was someone else in your spot, what would you tell them to do? Because that really will open up a lot more or answers for what you really need to do next.
Yeah, and thinking back to the exposure therapy thing, guys, obviously we gave the workout example, but maybe journaling's hard for you, right? Maybe it's visualization that's hard for you. Maybe it's actually just taking time away from technology. Like there's so many things that are hard.
Yep.
Everybody's heart is a little bit different. So lean into whatever that is, right? Maybe it's like just getting away from social media and the negativity. Maybe it is negative self-talk. Whatever the hard is for you, expose yourself to it. And what you'll realize very soon is that like that is going to build you to who you are. The other thing, guys, is the setbacks. That is when you learn, right? The quote unquote, the times that you're losing or the times that you have a loss, like that's when you learn. You don't learn when you're winning, right? There is nothing to learn from winning other than maybe like, I'm glad that I overcame those things, or I'm glad that I prepared for this. That's why I dominated or why I won. But like when you're winning, you don't learn shit. So if you're always looking for or assuming that I just want this to be easy, cool. Well, it's not going to be.
It's not going to be.
One of the things that I taught this week is that so many people seek comfort, right? And what they do is they confuse comfort with peace, right? Peace and comfort are very different. And the way that I explained it is comfort is the opposite of pain. It's the lack of pain. So comfort, there's no pain inside of comfort. Whereas what peace is, hey, I know there's going to be pain. I'm good with it. I'm going to move forward anyway. And the journey, guys, you don't actually the journey doesn't get any easier through life. You just become better. You become stronger. You get better at dealing with it and moving forward despite it. So again, going back to the alternative is if the alternative is to quit, cool. Well, then just move forward and understand that that's what we're looking for is the peace, not the comfort. Yep. We're looking for the peace of like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to become a badass. And there's a picture out there of a wolf where he's got like, as a baby, he's got an arrow in him and he's basically laying there dying. And as an adult, he's got like 50 arrows in him and he's still moving forward. Right? That's such a great visual of what it's all about. Like that arrow that you take early on, it's going to knock you down a little bit. But the more that you expose yourself to these things and realize the trajectory that you're on, like it's a given. We don't want to manifest the hardship, but it's inevitably going to show up, especially if you're aspiring to do something big with your life.
Absolutely.
So just understand that and realize those are the learning moments. Without those, you're not really becoming anything.
Right. I agree.
So
there's a quote that I heard about peace one time, and it always stuck with me. But peace isn't, everything is easy, life is easy, you're comfortable. Peace is being able to stay calm in the midst of chaos.
That's awesome.
Right? Because in life, chaos will always happen. And even that wolf example, when I think about that, it's like, you have all these arrows in you as an adult, but it's like you're still moving and you understand the ability because you have gone through so much. Yeah. And I think a lot of us, we want comfort, but that's the problem is we want comfort and we want everything to be still and okay and perfect, and it just doesn't work that way. But when you can remove that and start looking at the piece of just what I described, that is where life starts to really show. And that's where I think you can be more grateful. That's where I think you're going to figure out your purpose. That's where I think you're really going to propel yourself in life is, hey, even in the midst of all the bad things that are happening to you or the worst case scenarios, as long as you can keep moving, stay calm, and see the bigger picture, that is where life starts to propel forward.
Yeah. I'll even take that from an angle of the spiritual warfare side of things, just thinking through it. Like the longer you go, like when you first start doing your journey, like I tell people, hey, as soon as you kind of start believing in that higher power, as soon as you start moving your life in a positive direction that is going to make an impact in the world, like you are going to be under spiritual attack. Like the enemy is going to be like, all right, nope, we're shutting this shit down.
Yep.
And those attacks are way stronger and way harder to deal with early on because you're not capable of overcoming them. You're not as strong.
Absolutely.
The more that you overcome those things and the more grizzled veteran you become in this situation, those attacks don't happen as often.
1,000%.
Right? They start like the way that it works is like, and this is just my own personal experience, is those attacks don't come directly to you. Like the enemy's not going to attack you directly. He'll attack you through people you care about. But the cool thing is like that is a way less of a direct or blatant or harder attack to overcome because now you know how to handle these things, right? So if you're somebody that's early in your journey and you're in that mindset of like, man, these setbacks just keep coming, understand that is the enemy giving you everything that he can to try to keep you from moving forward. The more you overcome those things, the stronger you get, the less likely those attacks are to happen and the less damage that they do. You know, it's kind of like a video game when you get the really upgraded armor.
Yeah. That's I like that.
So
there's a good book.
Talking to that younger generation, I know I'm talking about video games, fucking Zelda, with the shield.
Yeah, you're a little bit behind on that curve.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully you guys know what that is.
Did you play Duke Nukem?
No. What? The dude, I remember a game that I don't know why this popped in my head, but Bad Fur Day. It was a Nintendo 69. Nintendo 69. Nintendo 64 game.
I never heard that one.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Paperboy was the shit.
But dude, it's a funny game because it's like these squirrels and it's like rated down for mature. So it's like these squirrels killing each other and like it's fucking
nice.
It's an amazing game. Damn, I kind of lost where I was gonna go. Maybe I didn't. No, yeah. So there's a book, and I don't even know if you can actually find the book anymore, but it's by Napoleon Hill. It's called Outwitting the Devil.
Phenomenal. You can find it.
Yeah, I don't know if you can find the book because I think I looked for it. Maybe you could. But there is an audio version of it on YouTube. And man, it is so powerful because what it essentially is Napoleon Hill having a conversation with like the devil, right? And he's asking him all these different questions. Okay, maybe you just found it. Okay, maybe it is out there.
Don't get it on Amazon. Amazon sucks.
Yeah, Amazon sucks. But it's such a powerful one because it's basically an interview with Napoleon Hill and the devil. And he's asking him questions of like how you would attack people and how you do this. And a lot of it is the stuff that we deal with every day that we don't even think about, right? Like it's the, oh man, why is all this stuff happening to me? Boom. That is where you're losing sight of the bigger vision. And that is where that spiritual warfare is happening, right? It's making you question yourself. And that's what happens when you question yourself. Think about where your mind goes. You're only focused on that instead of what you can actually be doing. Right. And sometimes a big piece, and this is what I actually wanted to tie into it, is look at what you think about every single day. And if it's the same things and if it's not feeding you, force yourself to have a different thought, a more positive thought, even if it's one. Right. And that's how I look at it. It's like training, and the more that you can do that, the more you'll start to see the actual bigger vision of where your life can go and the situation, how you can get out of it. You're right, dude?
Yeah, I'm good.
You need a smoke break?
I'm good. Need a cigar.
But when I think about that, it's like, dude, think about every single day, the thoughts that we have, how are we viewing life, and challenge yourself to switch that, because that's really where the power comes from. It's a lot of the times we want to comfort, by the way, even though we think comfort is like just everything is okay, everything's perfect. A lot of the things we forget is that comfort is also just having the same thoughts every single day, going about life the same way every single day, regardless of if it's good or bad.
Yep.
So like you can be in the worst case scenario, but it's your body. Your body is so addicted to the feeling that just negativity or doubting yourself that like it's hard to break out of. It's not actually you. And that's comfort, right? And we forget that because we think comfort is just being okay, but it's not. Even though you're in discomfort, you're in comfort. And you have to challenge and break that. And one of the best ways to do it is start challenging your own thoughts. Journaling, right? Like really breaking down what happens in your mind and how you're viewing your life. Because when you do, you'll realize there's a lot more to it, but it becomes tough, right? Like even when you talk about like someone's hard can be, hey, just stepping away from social media. That's a positive, right? Like, yeah, it's a negative that we're constantly scrolling, but we look at that as still a comfort, even though we don't really see that. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
But you have to challenge that.
Yeah, I love that. Something I heard pretty recently, I can't remember exactly where I heard it, and it was talking purely about a physical journey, but it literally applies to every area of life, is so many people look at the journey and they only think that certain things count, right? They only think that like, oh, I'm going to eat my protein. I went to the gym. Cool. Well, yeah, those things certainly do count.
Absolutely.
But so does everything else, right?
Yeah.
So like on this journey, guys, it's like that we think, oh, I'm only moving forward when I'm winning, or when life is good, or when I'm executing the way I should. No, like literally everything counts. 100% of what you go through and what you experience, it all counts towards becoming the person you want to be.
1,000%.
And those setbacks are one of the things that counts the most.
You're right.
You know, in my experience, guys, like I would not be the human being that I am had I not gone through all the hard shit in my life. Had I not had all those experiences where when I was in them, I'm like, man, I'm not going to make it through this. This is tough shit. Right. Like when my mom died in a car accident, and then shortly after that, my 10-month-old nephew died, and then my sister died. Like that was a stretch of life where I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, am I ever going to make it through this?
Right.
But again, it's like that all counted. It wasn't just the promotion that I got in my job through that, or all the money that I made with that promotion, or the getting married during that period of time, or having my first child during that period of time. Those were wins in my life. But also, guess what? Those wins, they didn't really add up to being like, hey, this is who you're now becoming. Right. It was all the setbacks that did that. So stop looking at life as if like only the things that you want to count, because everything counts. And when you understand that, A, it gives you a really solid platform to build from. But B, you start not taking things for granted, to your point earlier. And it's like, no, I'm glad that these hard things are happening, because if I'm going to be that person that wants to do this, then I'm going to be good to go. Right. Going with that is like when we visualize, guys, don't visualize things. Like the best way to visualize, you can start doing that. Right. Ultimately, you want to visualize, get the point of like, I'm visualizing the person that I need to become in order to have that life. Right. Well, guess what? That person, they go through some hard shit to get to where they want to be. Have to. Because if you could be the person you are now and have those, if you were already that person, you'd already have those things. Absolutely. Right. So you have to go through things. And again, all of the things between you now and you then, all of those things count, not just the wins, not just the good stuff. It's literally every little single thing, the setbacks, the broken promises that you make to yourself, and then learning from that and beating yourself up over it. It's the guilt. It's the lies that you tell yourself. It's whatever. It's all of it. Like the sooner you accept that, the faster you're going to get to becoming that person.
1,000%, man. It goes back to what you said with the hero journey, you know, like in the movies, you know, like part of the process of becoming that person is going through all those setbacks. It's dealing with those things, you know, because no great things come from everything being okay. It just doesn't happen that way. And I know it's now what we're not saying is also don't go look for the worst case scenarios and try to make up like, don't
manifest it.
Yeah. Don't, but you know, even when you visualize it's you visualize the process of the person that you're becoming to, right? Because like you can picture this person and view them, but what does that person go through? Right? Because that person has to go through a lot of hard work, you know, a lot of times where, hey, maybe you might not get enough sleep, or, hey, maybe your workouts aren't as great, but like, did you get them done? Are you still moving forward? And you visualize the process, because that's really the challenging pieces. You know, because, hey, on a good day when you're feeling great, it's easy to do everything. But what happens when you don't feel like doing it? That's really the test of your character. And that is really the test of life that you need to go through. So remember that. It's like Josh said, everything that happens is part of that process. It's all about how you view it, though. Right? Because, and in the moments, it is tough. Right? When you're going through all that shit, it's so tough to see the beautiful picture or the beauty out of it. But you just have to keep believing. You just have to keep looking forward. You know, because, hey, you're going to get dealt with a lot of shit. Like that's just part of life. So let that be known, but don't focus on that, right? Like focus on, okay, how do I move forward still? How do I learn from this? Because again, you're not going to learn from just winning. You know, and I think it goes right into the topic of, you know, the perfectionist mindset. We all want life to be just perfect, and it's not. But every great life has never been perfect. Yeah. It's been dealt with trials and tribulations. It's, you know, it's dealt with shitty hands. You just got to play the hands that you're dealt with, but that you can still win with those hands. Like, right. You know what I mean? That's how I always look at it. It's like, we all have a set of cards that we're dealt with. Now, how we play it is everything, you know, but being perfect is just not an option. So how do you still move forward? You know, like not all of us are Leonardo DiCaprio. You know what I mean? Like not all of us have that. And guess what? His life wasn't perfect either. Like you can look back at all these people that
now he's on that Diddy list.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. You got to do what you got to do, I guess. I disagree with it, but you know, but a lot of it, like look at all the people that we look up to. There's million setbacks in there, you know, and it's like every single person, if you go look at any person that you look up to, just look at an interview about their life and what they've had to overcome and how they got to where they got to. Every story is almost identical in the sense of like the concept is, right? Not every situation is, but they all like, yeah, man, I had to go through this happened. And then they come out of it. And that's where their success is. So remember that, like, regardless of what you're going through, you can get out of this, but you can also get through it. You just got to switch your mindset on it and you just got to keep moving forward. But don't look for perfect. Just look for getting shit done.
Yeah. Think about it like an overall journey, right? We give like the driving example because it just correlates to the overall journey so well. Right. Let's say you're going to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, right? You're going to drive that. Cool. You know where your destination is.
Right.
Your eyes are set, and this kind of ties everything that I said back together in a way. But it's like you see, you know where you're going. Cool. I'm going to the West Coast. There's this city I'm going to called Los Angeles. Right along that way, you're going to. Well, we'll go to Billings, Montana.
Okay, I like it.
We're going to Billings. I was actually just talking to Cody J about that. It's fucking hilarious story. I'll tell you when we're off camera. But we're going there, right? Cool. Well, we know where our destination is, right? You get a flat tire along the way. Well, do you just fucking sit on the side of the road and just like, all right, well, I guess we're not making it? No, you fix the tire and you keep going, right? Same type of thing, right? Hey, I'm getting kind of hungry. All right, you pull off the highway. You're no longer on that journey or that destination. You're on a side road, but your ultimate destination is still there.
Right.
So the key there is when you pull off for food, you intentionally do that, right? So it's the same exact thing here. It's like understanding that, hey, I'm intentionally going to have these days where I'm not doing what I need to do. And it's, again, all of those things count. So maybe you said, hey, you know what? This week I'm going to get back on my shit. I'm going to do nutrition. I'm going to work out. I'm going to do all this. Right. And then you don't. Cool. Well, does that mean that overall journey changed? Are you just going to throw the baby away with the bathwater? Or are you going to keep freaking going? Cool. It's just a step. It's a small thing. But if you look at it as this huge mountain, okay, think about what is the alternative? All right, well, I don't continue down the path, or I do. It's totally up to you. And those are the decisions. That's the hard stuff of each day, right? Going into the perfect. I saw something recently and it really struck a chord with me. I can't remember who it was. I see a lot of stuff. But they basically said, well, what even is perfect? For so many people, they wait to start their journey or they wait to execute on a plan until they have the perfect plan. Okay, well, let's say that hypothetically, situation A is you waited until you had the perfect plan, right? And then you started executing that perfect plan, and the next day you got hit by a bus. Was that a perfect plan?
No,
it fucking wasn't a perfect plan because you died, right? Versus option B, you're like, all right, well, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm just going to start taking action and I'm going to figure it out along the way. And then you don't get hit by a bus. Is that the perfect plan? Hard to say. It's certainly better than option A, but option A, you wasted all this time trying to figure out, oh, this is perfect, everything's lined up, and then you die. Right. So the whole idea here, guys, is there is no such thing as perfect,
1,000%.
right? Ever. But also you can decide what perfect is. Perfect, in my opinion, is I'm just going to fucking go and I'll figure it out along the way, and it will become perfect, right?
Getting it done.
Yeah, perfect is not the absence of setbacks or roadblocks or pain or suffering or questioning yourself or anything else. Perfect is whatever you decide it to be. And for me, perfect is like, am I going to stay on this road, this path? Am I going to keep driving until I get to California? Yeah. Well, then any direction I go in that direction is perfect.
1,000%.
Right. So it's just having the operational acuity to understand that I'm inside of this boundary and I'm going in the right direction. So therefore it's working for me. I'm going to keep fucking doing it.
Absolutely. It's like going back to the analogy of like the destination, right? And on that road, hey, you might not get there in the time that you want to. You might hit a pothole, flat tire,
or an armadillo.
Be careful for those.
Did you hit any armadillos out there?
No, we're good. But a big part of that is too, it's like you just got to keep moving forward, right? And like we reference the fitness journey so much because from a statistical data point of view and like every single journey in life, it's never just a up here, like just straight up. There's always bumps on the road, but it's the difference of going or not. Right. Like I remember the John Maxwell example you used, like how long it took him to figure out what he was supposed to do every single day. Well, dude, if you look at that and you're like, oh, it wasn't perfect for 7 years. But the reason if he stopped, he would have never been where he's supposed to be. Exactly. Right. It took him 7 years to figure out just what to do every single day. Yeah. So it's like just that example alone, I'm like, that's crazy. Right. But you have to keep going without, knowing that everything's going to be exactly the way you want it to be. Because when you keep going, there's going to be things along the way that pop up that you're like, oh, shit, this is where it's supposed to take me. Or, oh, this is what I was supposed to do. But a lot of us want perfect because we assume that's what it's supposed to be. Right. And going back to like even social media, it's like the highlight reel. We see everyone's this perfect routine. It's like what's his name? The Ashton guy with like the morning. Yeah.
Did you see Cam's reel?
No.
Dude, it's fucking hilarious.
Is it? Okay. I got to check that out.
So funny.
But dude, that's a great example of like what we think perfect is. Like, dude, it's not just having a perfect morning routine. Because guess what? Not everyone's going to have a perfect morning routine. Not everyone works, the way other people work. Not everyone has someone there to help. Like everyone's situation is different, but it's being able to adapt and keep moving forward. That's really what I think perfect is.
Yeah.
Like going back to your, like, hey, how do you view? I think that's a big piece of it. And it's being able to adapt and still get stuff done that you need to get done, right? You're not going to have the perfect workout. Everything is not going to be just great. But as long as you keep moving forward, you keep trying, right? Even if you have a to-do list of 100 different things, and let's say you only get 20 of them done, hey, it wasn't perfect in the grand scheme of things, but you got 20 done, right? So you're moving forward. And I think if you can look at life that way and look at every journey in life that way, you're going to get there. Yeah. And another piece of this that I think derails us is we look at other people and compare our journeys.
Yeah.
When you can't do that. right?
Zero correlation.
You can't. And here's another great example of this is if you look at every personal development book, the concepts are typically the same, but it's all written in different ways, right? Like, well, if everything was perfect, we just copy one another and life would just be the same for everyone. It doesn't work that way because then we wouldn't have the things that we have today, right? So you got to remember that, hey, your journey is your journey. You just got to keep moving. You got to go from chapter 1 to chapter 2, and it's got to be your version. And sometimes, actually, most of the time, it's not going to be like anybody else's, and that is okay. But as long as you just keep going, that is the difference.
Yeah, I think about that, like the journey thing. Same thing going along the lines of the vehicle journey, going across the country. Cool. We may take the same roads, right? However, the snacks are different in the car. The speed of the car is different. The type of the car is different. Do I have passengers and you don't have passengers that are fucking making me crazy the whole time? Right? The music that we're listening to is going to be different. Even within the guidelines of that highway, right? Our car is going to be differently to the left or the right of the guidelines and the lines on the road. Yeah. You might be traveling in the right lane. I might be traveling in the left lane. You might pass cars on the right. I might pass them on the left. You might drive in the median from time to time. It's the same road, but it is a completely different journey, right? 100%. So you can never look at that, guys, and don't let that discourage you. It's one of the biggest things in today's world where people look at, oh, well, it took that person this, right? I'm going to give you guys a secret. Okay, it's not even really secret. It's fucking obvious.
I was like, I'm ready for the secret.
It's very simple, right? No matter what it is that you are trying to do, physical, financial, spiritual, relationship, success, business, you name it, there is a process that has to happen in order for you to become that. 100%. Right? Your own personal journey of becoming the version of yourself you want. There's a process that you have to go through to get you there. Right? If you want to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, you have to drive that distance. It's non-negotiable. Yep. You could fly it. Cool. It's just going to shorten it, but that distance still needs covered. 100%. That's the same thing in any journey. So stop fighting that, right? I gave this talk to Genesis people. It's like, if we understand that the journey is the reward, right? Because the way I positioned it is I was like, and it's probably good to bring it up, is all right, let's say that you could give the journey to any human being on the planet that you wanted to. Right. You could make them go through the journey for you, but you got the reward for it. Who would you pick? Right. And most people in the room were like, I wouldn't pick anybody because they understand that, hey, I got to go through it. But most people are like, oh, I would probably pick this person. Right. Cool. Right. So we agree that most people wouldn't pick somebody. Okay. So if the moment that you asked for something or wanted something, you received it, would that make you happy? Right. The answer, some people were like, yeah, it would. Okay. Well, then how come the 80% of lottery winners end up dead or depressed within 2 years? Right. I had an Australian guy in the crowd. He's like, hey, there's actually a study done in Australia where people that win the lottery after 2 years, they equate the same level of happiness as somebody that has recently just broken their back.
That's crazy.
And these people win these huge sums of money. So we can agree, even plastic surgery, right? Plastic surgery, people go get that done. And they think it's going to make them happy. So it's an immediate change. But then they get more plastic surgery because they're just not happy, right? So we can agree that those two things don't make you happy, right? So we can also probably then agree that the journey is where the happiness is found.
Oh my God.
So why do we fight the journey so much, right? Why do we buck up against that and not just accept the fact that I have to go through this process in order to get to where I want to go? And I'm just going to fucking enjoy it.
1,000%.
It doesn't always mean it's going to be enjoyable, but that's the perspective shift. It's like you get to choose whether it's enjoyable or not. Right? Like what I do here, guys, I love what I do here. I don't even call it a job. It is hard. It is stressful. It is long. It is never ending. It is relentless. It's the most work I've ever done. It's the most disciplined I've ever had to be. It's the most shit I've ever had on my plate, but I freaking love it. Right? I understand and I've embraced it. This is what I meant to do. Right. I find happiness in the process because I know that in order to do the things I want to do in life, I have to go through this.
1,000%.
What's the alternative? Right? Do I just stop? Yeah. Right? Everybody has their own path in that regard. And again, there's other people that work here. They don't view it that way. And that's perfectly okay.
Yep. Everyone's 100%.
Different. They don't have to. So just understand that journey, guys, it has to happen. So stop fighting it. Why would you fight it? And then everything inside of that journey counts. All the bad shit, all the good shit, all the things that's like, man, I don't know if I'm capable of this. It all adds up. And then you eventually push through and you get to where you want to go.
I love that a lot, man. And the question you presented to that group, I think is so important.
Yeah. I saw a lot of light bulbs go off.
For real, because man, it's everyone's journey is different, right? We oftentimes, like I even brought up, it's like we look at other people to like show us this way or show us the journey, but like it doesn't work that way, right? Like the beauty comes from us going through that process, us going through that journey. And the beauty of it is it's our journey. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. But like you even said, it's like, dude, you have the most on your plate. And I know what it's like, right? And that's a mindset shift is not everyone's going to think that way. Not everyone's going to be that way. But that's what makes it great is if you follow your path, you're going to get hit with a lot of things. Mm-hmm. But the more that you keep moving forward and the more that you enjoy the process of it all, that's the difference. Yep. Because even those bad days are going to lead to good days, right? And all it is really just going through it, you know?
And ask yourself, is it a bad day or was it a bad 5 minutes that you let
That's
ruin
it.
the whole day?
That's it.
That's usually what it
Dude,
is.
it really is.
Yeah.
And it goes back to just switching your perspective on those things, right? And again, I think our perspective gets skewed by social media, by the people around us sometimes. Like there was I was listening to a podcast, I think it was Joe Rogan, but he talks about like, one of his friends brings up, like he has a friend who's, like makes $10 billion a year or whatever. And he doesn't feel enough because he's surrounded by people who make $100 billion a year. Bro, how many of you guys would be happy to make $1 million a year, let alone fucking 10 billion? And it's like, it just gives you the perspective of like, hey, why we lose so much is because we're constantly comparing, right? And we're also looking at other people's journey when in reality, dude, like even just the guys who win the lottery, what's the difference? They didn't earn it. You know what I mean? And that's there's people out there who don't make that much money, but because they have pushed through and became successful at something, they're happy and they're grateful for what they have because they went through the long process of getting there, right? It's like, dude, I even look at my parents, it's like, they're not billionaires, but when they see what they've gone through just to get me and my sister through school, see us be successful in our lives and do what we're doing, it's like, that is happiness. But why is that happiness? Is because they've gone through that journey. They've earned that, right? And no one can take that away from them. Just like no one can take away the journey that you're going through or even the things that you have gone through so far. And hey, you might not be happy with where you're at now. That's fine. But you have overcome so much and there's still more left to go through, but it's your journey. And that's the beautiful piece, because the more that you keep going, you're going to get to a point where you're like, man, I am happy that I'm doing all these things, but it won't happen unless you're pushing forward, unless you're getting through the fear, you're getting through the discomfort. Like you're going to have to go through those things. But the more that you go through it, the more you're going to be confident in yourself. But then the more you're going to see opportunities in your life that you would have missed if you just stopped on the side of the road after a flat tire. Like you got to keep going through it.
Yep. I think a big thing that comes into that's a danger with the comparison society that we live in is you only get to see highlight reels, and everybody kind of agrees to that. Yeah. But when you only get to see the highlight reels, your mind goes to work to fill in the gaps of what you're not seeing.
Correct. It's the montages.
Yeah,
right.
It is 100%. Right. And it's the dangerous part of it, because like you can look at that and be like, oh, well, they're there because of that. Well, no, you need somebody in your life that can tell you that like the process is the process. 1,000%. They follow the same process. They're just now showing the best parts of it.
Without a doubt.
Which is why like it's a big reason why First Form is very successful at what we do, is because it's all people that have gone through the journey and they're not afraid to show the whole
1,000%.
thing. Right. So when people see that, it's very easy to relate and be like, okay, cool, I can do this, So
absolutely.
It's a very scary, very dangerous thing, but honestly, it's not anything that's going to go away. The way to attack that is just by changing your thought process
100%.
and understanding that, cool, like that's their journey. Cool. Awesome. I'm proud of them. They obviously have achieved the things that they want to achieve. I'm capable of doing the same thing. I just got to do the same work.
Yep. There's no lack of process in there.
Yeah.
And that's another thing to remember is like when you see these things, like to your point, we fill in the gaps of what we think happens, but we really don't know what happens.
Yeah. We have no idea.
Dude, I've used this example before, but like even with my trick shots, like there's some trick shots that take me like a whole year. Now I'm not practicing every single day, but I practice a fuck ton and I still don't get it. And you guys only see the 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes, the 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And I can do a better job of like showcasing that, right? But at the end of the day, it is a process to get that one. You know what I mean?
I thought you always made on the first shot.
Yeah, that'd be great, dude. You know how many times, dude, I would have a lot more videos, okay, to be fair. But I know it's a different example because not a lot of people do trick shots. But like for me, the reason I love trick shots is because of the process of it all, right? Like when I hit that one shot, I'm so happy. But it's like, dude, that takes me hours and hours and days. But that is the process. And that is very similar to everyone's life journey, everyone's career journey, everyone's financial journey. We all have that journey that we go through, but there is no lack of process that you can skip.
Yeah.
And you just have to remember that. Like you can't fast forward this. This is not Click where you go through it, right? And actually, I think that's a really good movie to bring up because like what happens when he fast forward through all those moments, he skips out and he's like, man, this sucks. I got what I thought I wanted. It doesn't work because you're not in the process of it, right? And you start to miss out on these different things. So remember that, like, enjoy your process through it, no matter how difficult it is. And I know that's always easier said than done because when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see. But if you can constantly just rewire your brain and switch that perspective and understand the bigger picture of it, it's one day, right? You're going to get through that one day. But it's about how you view that day and how you view that journey that counts for everything.
Yep. Yeah, I heard a parallel to this from a standpoint of reading a book, right? Reading life is a lot like reading a book, right? And every single page, there might be something on this page that I'm reading today. You read one page per day. And what I'm reading today might be like one of the most profound things ever, right? But cool. Once I turn that page, I don't get to go back and reread that page. right? And that's life. And a lot of people, when you look at that comparison syndrome, what you're doing is you're seeing the last chapter of the book or a chapter that's 3/4 of the way through without understanding any of the context that went into that, and it's a very dangerous thing. It's the, it must be nice mentality of seeing somebody that's super successful, like Ed Milet. Cool. What I love about him the most is that he tells his entire story and he brings it up all the time. Right? Like, this is where I started and you're also capable of it. Whereas, and those are the people, guys, that you need to lean into watching.
Agreed.
People that
I was just
show
about
the
to say
whole journey, because like you'll have all these other people that will do it intentionally, not showing their journey, making you feel like an asshole because you're not there.
100%.
And it's like, just get away from that.
Yeah.
They either do it intentionally or they don't do it intentionally. A lot of times there is ego involved.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a vanity point, right? Because you're like, yeah, I didn't struggle. I got here because I'm so good. Yeah, it's not. It's bullshit.
Just get away from that. Like, follow the people that literally let you see every chapter of that book, right? And
1,000%.
just understand, again, same principle. It's like, if you flip open a book, read the first page, and then flip and close it, read the last page, you're not going to understand that book.
1,000%.
That's what life's all about. Like, you got to read every single page, knowing that, hey, I don't get that page again. Like, I gotta take it and make the best of it each time.
I love that, man. I love that. I think that's a perfect way to put that.
Yep. It wasn't me. Somebody else came up with it.
Well, no, it's you. Don't.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll give you credit. You're the first person that told me. So
I think it was Abraham Lincoln.
He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good guy.
I got to take this out of my bag because I need to leave it here. My daughter, she had off yesterday, and she made me this really cool little dot art thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't get one? All right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to her.
Well, if I take it, she made one for Nick. She made one for
what? Nick gets one before me? That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's all right. I forgive.
Yeah.
I forgive.
Well, let's send her home.
All right, guys. I think the biggest message of today is just enjoy the journey, right? It's not going to be perfect. I think we've covered that plenty of times now. But enjoy the process because it is your process. And no one can take that from you. And you might not know it now, but there is something greater on the other side of it that you just can't see. And that is okay as well. You just got to keep switching your mindset on it. Keep looking at the perspective of, what can I do with this opportunity, or what can I do with this setback, or whatever happens to you. Just remember, there's more of life that you still got to go through. It's not going to be void of hardships. It's still going to happen. But you are in control of what that looks like, right? And what you do from there. And you do have the capabilities. You guys are, we as humans are more capable we're capable of so much things that we don't even understand yet. But remember, enjoy the process of it, because that's where really everything comes from. That process is what decides, all the successes in life. So just keep moving forward, enjoy the process, and you will be fine. I promise you that. Yeah. The really simple thing I'll leave you with is just always think, guys, what's the alternative? Like, you're on the side of the road with a flat tire. You're just going to stay there. Right. I love that. I really do love that. It's not even an option. So why not just keep moving forward and absorb and lean into all the setbacks and understand they're there for you. Right. So love it. All right, guys, we appreciate you. Thank you as always. If you could do us a favor, just leave maybe a comment, subscribe, like, do all the things, because we, could get better at also closing off with that, because we just kind of do this to help. And at the end of the day, that's really all we do this for. Like, there's no beneficial reason, monetary value that we get out of this outside of just seeing you guys win. Like, that is all we want to do. And we just want to share what we learned, and we've brought this up too, but we're in this process with you guys too. And that's the beauty of it all. You're not out there alone. You'll never be out there alone. There's people going through it in the thick of it, but just keep moving forward. Just keep going. But at the end of the day, guys, like the show, share it, do whatever you can, send it to someone who can get value from this, because that's why we do this. So I want you guys to think of one person in your life that is either dealing with currently a setback, or they have gone through one recently. And I want you to share this with them, because I think it'd be very valuable for them. That's the ask, right? Help us do that and make somebody a little bit better. That'd be freaking awesome. We Absolutely. Appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, any things we can help you out with, please ask away. You guys can find us on Instagram. It's pretty simple. My first name, last name, Josh, same thing. Like, you just look us up, Dino Music or Josh Stively, and you'll find it. We even have a process of becoming that we can do better on posting, and we will get better with that as well. But yeah, guys, send us any questions. Let us know what your thoughts are on the show, what you guys like, what you don't like, what we could do better. But at the end of the day, that's it. We love you guys. Thank you, and peace.